Hi, this is Jason from the QuickBooks team. QuickBooks Time and QuickBooks Enterprise can help you publish schedules and shifts for your employees, automatically track overtime, and use reports to track information about the time your team worked. Let's go over how to create schedules for your team in QuickBooks Time, discover how QuickBooks Time tracks overtime, and run reports for that time in QuickBooks Enterprise. Because QuickBooks Enterprise and QuickBooks Time seamlessly integrate, when you sync QuickBooks Enterprise with QuickBooks Time, all of your workers, items, and customers and jobs automatically transfer to QuickBooks Time. Select My Team. From here, you can see all the employees that imported from QuickBooks Enterprise. If you want to add an employee, add them in QuickBooks Enterprise. After you've entered them in QuickBooks Enterprise, and then sync with QuickBooks Time, the employee will appear on this list automatically without needing any extra work. Select a team member to see their info. Info like their hire date, whether they're an hourly or salaried employee, and their contact info updates automatically from QuickBooks Enterprise anytime you sync with QuickBooks Time. If you'd like someone to enter their own time or see their schedule, select Send Invite, and then fill in any missing details to invite them to QuickBooks Time. After they confirm their info, they can log in with their phone or a web browser on a computer and enter their time. You'll still get to review the time they enter before paying them. In QuickBooks Time, you can organize your team's work with schedules and shifts. Select Schedule. First, you see the current week's schedule. You can look at the past or future week with the arrow buttons, and switch to daily or monthly view with this dropdown. To add someone to the schedule, find the row with their name, and the column for the day you want them to work. Then select the cell. Title the shift. Enter a start and end time, and if there are other team members on the shift, add them here. You can also include the customer or job they'll work on. Check out this video to learn more about tracking job costs for your employees' time in QuickBooks Time and QuickBooks Enterprise. When you select Publish, the schedule is viewable for anyone with access to the calendar and alerts the employees you put on the shift. Once you've built a schedule you like, you can save it as a template to use later, or copy all of the shifts from the previous week. When your team looks at the schedule, this is what they'll see. They can view the schedule in general, or just their shifts. And when it's time for them to start work, they can clock in for their shift. The time they enter for their shift will appear in QuickBooks Enterprise after you approve and sync the time. QuickBooks Time can also help you keep track of regular time versus overtime. Select Company Settings, Payroll and Overtime. Then select the Overtime tab. From here, you can set up the rules for paying employees for overtime. You can calculate overtime weekly, daily, and use other rules specific to your location. Then select Save. Once you've set up your overtime rules, anytime an employee records the time they work, QuickBooks Time will automatically categorize the time as regular or overtime. When you approve the time an employee submitted, you'll see a breakdown of the time and can view details to see the number of hours for regular versus overtime, along with which job they worked on and what work they performed. In QuickBooks Enterprise, after you sync with QuickBooks Time and pay your employees, you can track this time with a report. Select Reports, Payroll Summary. Then enter the date range for the time you paid the employees, and you'll see their overtime hours and total overtime paid. Now you're ready to use QuickBooks Time and Enterprise to organize your team's work, pay them efficiently, and manage your team's expenses.